has been comfortable in their life? I was a good supervisor. I was an even better employee because I loved my work. I showed up every day and I got things done, and I took pride in my performance. And if you ask me, I was one of the best employees in the organization. And guess what? My hard work got noticed. One day I received an email promotion. I was moving into a high level management role. I thought I would never achieve it. Now, you think that that would be an easy transition, right? Because if you're good at your job, you're going to be a great leader, right? Well, that's what I thought at the time. But anyway, I'll tell you this, I was just okay. Sure, I had some complaints here and there, maybe about three or four, and they were from my employees and a couple of tense meetings. But overall, I still thought, you know what? You're okay. The real problem was my staff. Let me tell you something about my staff. They were lame. They weren't doing what I wanted them to do. They weren't living up to my expectations. They were resistant to change and they were slow to respond. And I tell you another thing, they were just making my job just a little bit too hard. I was that kind of boss. So what did I do? You all know what I did. I did what any good manager would do. I took on the work myself, please. I thought I was taking care of business at that time. Because I also thought that if I just worked harder, we could get things done. If I just controlled more, we wouldn't fall behind. If I just fixed their mistakes, everything would turn out okay. But at the same time, something wasn't adding up. It wasn't adding up in me. I looked at some of the leaders around me, and I also looked at some of the colleagues. Their teams performed at high levels, their employees worked well together, and they weren't drowning in work like I was. And secretly, no one knew that I felt stuck. Who's felt stuck before? I've got to raise both hands for that. But you know what? I did my same thing. I thought, oh, well, I'll just keep doing what I've been doing. And that's what I did. From boss to leader, it's about them. And who are they? They're the people who are entrusted into your leadership. And we're going to go over 3 points. Bold women lead with confidence, compassion, and clarity. For career success, women leaders shift the focus. And strong women lead by listening, lifting, and empowering. So, if I'm supposed to be a bold woman leading with confidence and compassion and clarity, why didn't I have that as a leader back then? All right, ladies, we're going to cue up some drums. If I had some drums, it would be loud. There's a moment that everything changed. One day after a management meeting, the executive who hired me, she stormed into my office very loud and she slammed the door shut and she pointed a finger in my face. And for the next 90 seconds, she yelled at me. I'm thinking, what is going on here? That 90 seconds felt like forever. My mind was swirling. And then she quietly left, closed the door. But I immediately felt embarrassed. So much my mind was freaking out. And I'm looking around. Did anybody hear her? Did anybody see her? There was nobody in the office but me, but I'm freaking out looking for people. And then I thought, you know what? I don't know who she thinks she is. I don't care if you are an executive. You don't get to talk to me like that. I'm going to report your tale to HR. And then a still small voice said to me, listen to what she said, not how she said it. So I replayed her words in my head. She said, you're not a collaborator. You're not a strong leader. You're not taking care of your people. You let me down. I was devastated, ladies. And it just wasn't the words that hit hard. It was the truth. You know what I mean? You know when someone hits you with the truth? That's how I felt. I wasn't leading. I was managing tasks. I was controlling work, not building the people. And worst of all, I'd made leadership all about me instead of them. I felt hopeless and I just didn't know what to do. Who's been hopeless before? I've got to put both hands up. So I did the only thing I knew to do, and that was to pray. And I prayed a short prayer. I didn't even know what to pray. It was, Lord, help me. And I realized that I had to change. So for career success, women leaders shift the focus. But here's the thing, that's an internal process, and it is a process. So I started looking at myself. How was I communicating with my team? Was I really listening or was I really waiting for my turn to speak? You know how that goes. You just sit there and say, okay, please stop. I've got something to say. And then also, did I care about their growth or was I just looking for results? So I started paying attention to myself, my tone, my words, my presence in meetings, and my one on ones with my employees. And I slowed down. I asked some questions like, what do you need to be successful? What challenges are you facing? How can I support you? And then came the hard part of the shift. This is the painful part of the shift. I had to admit that I was a weak leader. A weak leader. I told you it was painful. Because here's the thing with me, I'm someone who received promotion after promotion after promotion after promotion. I was on the ladder, but I was weak. But once I admitted it, everything changed. Once I made the decision to improve my leadership, being a leader became easy. I studied other leaders. I studied strong leaders. I studied how they communicated, how they coached instead of controlling, how they empowered instead of micromanaging. And then I took leadership training. I attended leadership conferences. I implemented processes from my mentors. And I also became a certified coach twice because I gained this knowledge in support of the team, not Carla. John Maxwell said, place people above your own agenda. That was new to me. I did it, but it was new. And you know what? Want to know what happened to my team, my phenomenal team? I encouraged them to collaborate across departments and I trusted them. Who appreciates being trusted? Me. And the other thing is, they rose to the occasion. They owned their work, they delivered results, and they even won several individual awards and team awards. What a fun time. Strong women lead by listening, lifting, and empowering. Here's another thing, leadership isn't about being the most productive person in the room, it's not about working harder than everyone else. And it's not about doing all the work yourself. Leadership is about being a servant, a listening servant, because think about it. Your team may have ideas that you would have never thought of. So keep your ears open for them. Keep them open for the needs of your people. I had an employee walk into my office one day and she was so flustered and heartbroken because someone told her that it's been a year since her husband died and she should get over the grieving part of it. She said, Carla, I'm not over it. So she sat down and I just listened. And you know what she did? And she walked out. That's what she said. Thanks for listening. Have your ears open. Leadership is about lifting because when your people grow, the organization grows, and so do you. Leadership is about empowering because the best leaders just don't achieve results, they inspire them. So let me ask you a question, ladies. Are you managing tasks or are you leading people? Are you doing all the work or are you delegating? Are you controlling or are you coaching? How much does your staff mean to you? I mean, the ones who don't like you. And sometimes, let's be real, sometimes the one you don't like. And if you're frustrated with your team, if they're not performing the way you want them to, I would say take a look in the mirror. It might not be them, it might be you. But here's the good news, ladies, and there is good news. Leadership isn't about being perfect, it's an art, but it's not about being perfect. It's about being humble enough to grow, to shift the focus from you to others. And my mantra, which I learned from an employee about 10 years ago, if you take care of the people will take care of the mission. So the question isn't, are you in charge? The question is, are you leading? Because that's what bold, confident, compassionate women do. I'm Carla Coates.